what I call doctors? I call them dinosaurs. Actually, I call them Dr. Sores. Dr. Sores. Sometimes you'll see someone and you'll go, hey, that's someone Miles calls Dr. Sores. That doesn't mean he treats sores. It means that he's a dinosaur. Because the medical community hasn't budged in so fucking long that we've been forced to build our own medicine separate to them. They still think there's two genders. Yeah. Dude, there's like 72 genders. So even if you bumped it up to 30, I'd still think you were a loser. That's barely half of the number of genders there. And you can just see there's all these, gynecologists, and there'll be a trans woman there who sits down with her penis and balls, and she'll get in the stirrups, and he'll be like, I don't know what to do here. And she'll be like, look at my vagina. And he'll say, okay, your clitoris is so engorged that it's hanging down, and your labia majoris appear to have giant cysts in each one, and your vaginal canal appears to have vanished. Okay, that's a valid assessment, but gynecologists don't do that. They just refuse to treat it. Or there'll be a trans man with the UTI.
So I pulled down my pants, and it wasn't at all what he expected, and he was immediately apologetic. He said, oh, you don't have, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize. I said, I know, we tried to tell you.
And he'll go, it's very rare for a man to get a UTI, but let me see your penis. And then she shows him, he shows the doctor his vagina and says, look at my penis. And the doctor's like, what? Because they're idiots. So what we've done now is we've learned our own medicine through astrology, through flat earth, through all kinds of different, and I'm not saying I'm flat earth, I'm just saying I'm aware of that science, and I incorporate that into my modern science. And people, especially in Florida, are coming up with different ways to deal with cancer and stress, and that it makes little spirals in your body that you can pull out through your head. And women, especially women, are better at doing this than others. So not only is medicine dead, but in this new revolution for new medicine, women are leading the revolution. And I don't think we need, hey, men, hey, white men, don't apply for anything anymore. Don't apply to be lawyers. Don't apply to be doctors. Don't apply to be politicians. Amy Siskind was talking about this recently. She said that if you want to run for office and you're not a person of color and you're not a woman, sit down. And some guy had a problem with that. And of course, he was a white male. So he should be fired, by the way. So these two women are figuring out medicine on their own, and they're doing a hell of a lot better job than any man I've ever seen. Take it away, Lee, I think your name is.
Hi, friends. In Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, November 6, 2016. In the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls continue to be only child souls from the smaller subatomic, and the intrusions from above continue.
That's true.
That's true.
Above meaning larger and less dense levels.
That's true.
We're going to go with the foundational assignment, which is to do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions to manifest the divine plan, since that's what our soul contracts commit us to.
Do you understand what's going? Can I just pause it here? Do you understand what's going on here? You have this sort of like thick cement of negativity that runs through your body in these long sort of strands, and above you, the air is less dense. That's just a scientific fact. So what you can physically, literally do is take the stress out of this area, the cement area, pull it up through your spine, and then disperse it into the less dense area, which is what they're doing here. That's Jamie Body, I believe, and that's Lee something. And they're both, as they talk, relieving stress, which relieves cancer. Where is the medical community on this? Nowhere, because they're ignorant.
The formally videoed portions of today's efforts begin.
Speaking to the grass right here in our film.
That's Jamie Body.
What we're doing right now is we're pulling out trauma threads that are messing us up in our own lives, in our own experiences of sentience. And this particular thread, which is really common, goes way, way back, multiple lifetimes, many lifetimes along the strand of incarnations of this particular presence. And so it's likely that you have this too, because we all have stuff that's messing us up. We all have these
And just
weird,
pause. I know there's
cloggy-
some naysayers out there who are like, what? What is this? Scientology goes back generations. Look at any sort of disease, lung cancer. You'll find out that your father had it, your grandfather had it. So you know that DNA is inherited. Yet when she says it, because she's a woman and you're sexist, you go, this sounds like BS. No, it doesn't. It sounds like relief. RF.
Goals, and they come with us life to life. They travel with us as we travel. There we go. I feel nodding.
It helps to inhale and
feelings
hold it a bit
from the grass,
like
too.
you're hitting a bong.
If we're taking it as our working theory that we all have this stuff, would you like to do this exercise with us and pull out your own trauma strands? Pull out your
Trauma
own
strains.
that are
Pull out your own trauma
It's not
strains.
about enlisting them to pull out their own problems, because that window of opportunity opened and closed a long time ago. We're way past that. This is about
That's true.
if they want to do that while they join us in clearing from the smaller subatomic
That's
presences
true.
who wish to go to the light and are not able to get there because of all the intervening astral layers.
All right.
That's true.
That's what we're actually.
There's so much
asking.
information here. It's basically medical textbooks. Most of them are written in the 1800s, and they talk about slugs and stuff getting on your body. And they talk about how you have to wash your hands all the time and ancient penicillin stuff. So this could fill a textbook if I go on. But what I think is really interesting is go up to 5 minutes and 20 seconds, Ryan. At 5:20, you hear that not only is she aware of how this system can help human beings, she realizes that this system applies to other biological mass, other life forms, like trees. And she has the balls to call out some of the other white male trees. I assume they're white males. You can sort of tell, for not being aware of this. And it's going to seem harsh when you see her telling this tree what time it is and sort of tearing him a new ass, but it's called tough love.
As well as subatomic, all those presences who want to go
She's
up
probably
to the
figuring it
light.
out right now.
Pulling up her own trauma ropes and calling up
It feels so
all
good.
those presences who want to go to the light. Yes, it does.
Maybe we'll ask this tree, are you aware of the work we were doing this morning, talking to the dead trees in the park and asking them if they had ever done any of this kind of work? Kind of like vaguely.
Kind of vaguely.
Vaguely.
Yeah.
And are you aware that all those dead trees, and granted it's only a sampling of maybe 20 or so dead trees so far, but so far out of 20, none of them, 0, have used this practice.
Just pause.
And so this practice.
Are you catching any of this? They went up to the park. They went to 20 trees that had died. And they said, no disrespect that you're dead, but I couldn't help but notice not one of the 20 had done the strains, the trauma strains. Not one tree had tried to remove trauma strains from it. And this arrogant asshole tree in her front yard is like, so? I don't care. And what I love about the way she talks to this tree is she's not condescending, but she's just like, hey, have you ever thought of that? Like, she keeps it cool. She sort of lets the tree get out of his shell before she really gives it to him. Go ahead.
Didn't have anything to do with their death. Doing this practice didn't have anything to do with their death. Are you aware of that? Oh, maybe I am now. It's kind
Maybe
of
I am
feeling.
now.
Oh,
That's true.
maybe I am now.
That's true.
And your friend, your dead bay tree friend over here, you were here when we were having the conversation with the bay tree this morning, and the bay
That's true.
tree said, "Oh no, I didn't do
I
that.
didn't do that."
I
Yeah,
didn't
just
do
pause.
that."
Did you catch that? So she's explaining to the bay tree why it died, basically. And he's sitting there, this stupid tree, just like, I'm just a tree. He looks like you'll see. He looks like a fool.
That's true.
This is part of the
That's
bay
true.
tree pact. That this doesn't have anything to do with these practices. And are you aware of those
Ignorance.
3 dead pines that right over there, and how we were talking to them just this morning, and those 3 dead pines said not only did they not do the practices, but they were aware of them and actively didn't do them, and now they're dead? Oh.
Yeah, very aware of that.
All right.
Very aware of that.
Are you willing? to just take as your working theory that these practices are not harmful to you as an individual and see how it feels? It actually feels fabulous.
That's true.
Would you be willing
It's
to
true.
do as an experiment? Just try it for a minute. How about that? 1 minute.
1 minute, Tree.
I feel willing. I feel motion.
Motion.
Up the back.
This drives me nuts.
Ah,
You see
I
this
know
so
this
often. Just pause. You see this so often with the sort of doctor sores, where they will see 20 trees dead in a park, 3 dead pines, and a whole pact of dead bay trees. Not one of them did anything about trauma strands, and yet the one final living tree is like, I'm not interested. You see this with doctor sores. You see this, all this evidence, all these dead bodies laid before them, and they're like, I don't see a pattern. You're blind. Go ahead.
Action. I think the tree is saying this isn't cool.
That's true. That is what you're saying.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
All right, well, we'll see if that shifts over time.
I hope so.
Not for you as an individual. Obviously, you care what your companions think, and
That's true.
we'll start asking others.
true.
You know, the ones who are closer to the dead trees probably are going to be more open to it or feel more affiliation with the dead trees. Let's start with that pine, because those were dead pines. Hey, friend, are you willing to engage in these practices? I feel more willingness.
More willingness. That's true.
All right,
Some
let's start with the
motion.
pine. Maybe all the pines, speaking to the pines.
That's
Hey,
true.
friends, pine trees, are you willing?
Pines, palm trees, poplars.
Feel some motion.
Come in. Remove your trauma
And
strings.
to this oak tree, are you aware of triple oak out back? The really big oak trees, the huge oaks of this yard? They're doing it.
All the oaks.
If it's good enough for them, is it good enough for you?
Now he
Please.
doesn't feel so cool.
Try
for
for
not
1
doing it
minute.
anymore.
No, you look like an idiot.
There we go.
Oh no. I thought I was doing the cooler thing.
No, you
And
look
now I
like an
don't feel
idiot.
cool.
But you can be the leader of this front yard. Well, I don't know. Pine Tree ate your lunch on that.
That's true.
But you can jump on the bandwagon and not
That's
be
true.
one of the losers running around saying, wait for me.
So just pause. I think that's enough. There's a huge lesson here. Someone makes a discovery like trauma strains. They try to share it. They try to share it with humans. They try to share it with trees. And what do? They get an arrogant, shitty attitude. And what does that lead to? Death. Wake up. Understand that the medical community has no idea what they're talking about. And the truth is right here, not where the trauma strains are, but behind the trauma strains. You're not cool when you sit there and ignore it. You're walking up to death and giving it a blowjob. I am Miles McInnes. I make videos about social justice. To see them all, go to nohate.com.